So what we have here is a 2-gallon wine bucket that has just been sterilised with 2 sterilising Camden tablets that are basically chlorine tablets. So this bucket has now been sterilised, as has the top of this bucket. It's been rinsed out. We left the sterilising tablet in there for about 15-20 minutes and then rinsed the bucket out. And here we have 600 grams of, we've used unrefined sugar, so just golden sugar. Not Demerara sugar, not icing sugar, not any of that, just ordinary golden unrefined sugar. And in here what we have is 500 millilitres of boiling water. We've used Evian mineral water because it doesn't have all the stuff in it. So hopefully using the best ingredients is going to mean we get a decent product. And now we've added the water to the sugar, and we've got to wait for the sugar to dissolve. Now we're just waiting for the water and the sugar to cool down so that it's tepid. So while we're doing that, we're going to add the grape juice . That's all in. That's a litre of that grape juice. And now we're going to add, is it 2 litres?
A litre each.
A litre each of Bramley apple juice. That's the first one in, the Bramley. And now it's the Cox's apple juice. And each of these are 75 centilitres. 75 centilitres of each added to the 1 litre of ordinary apple juice. Ordinary 1 litre of grape juice. And finally,
ordinary.
We're adding half a litre of just ordinary apple juice to top it all up. So that now is our brew. Just waiting so that we can add the sugar and the mineral water, and then when that's ready we can add the yeast. So the sugar's just dissolved into the water, and we've been letting the water cool down now so it is tepid. Now tepid is somewhere between 26 and 35 degrees centigrade. We're currently running at about 38 degrees centigrade, and so we're just going to leave it for a few more minutes so that it is tepid. So we now have this at tepid temperature, and it's going in with the mix. Followed by, is that a litre?
Yeah.
A litre of water. Was that also sort of tepid?
Yeah.
Or was that
warmish?
okay? Brilliant.
I need to put in like a tiny weeny bit more to make it up to 5 litres.
Okay. So that is now a brew of 5 litres. So now we've got tartaric acid going in. And then we have Pectolase going in. And then finally the Yeast Nutrient going in. And then finally we've got the brewer's yeast going in. And the instruction we've got is don't stir. So you just put it in on top like this. That is the recipe. Don't stir. And now we just let it do its thing. So there we have the brew. 5 litres of the brew, which we're now going to put somewhere dark and at a fairly constant temperature. And what we thought is we're going to put it at the back of the wardrobe. So we've put a seal on it. It's completely sealed. Everything was sanitized, and so everything in there should be free of bacteria. Everything that we put in came straight out of the bottle or the packet, and so when we leave this alone for a little while and come back to see you in a couple of weeks, we should have something. What we didn't realise is that actually you're not supposed to have a perfect seal. So what we've done is take a clean tea towel and tie that round the top and just rest the lid on top so that there isn't a sort of hermetic seal. Air can get in so that everything can go to work. And so we're now going to shut the wardrobe and come back in a couple of weeks. So what we've now been doing is using a gravity siphon to get the brew out of the bucket and into a demijohn. So here we've got our demijohn nearly finished, nearly full from the bucket. It's been in the wardrobe for just over a week so that the fermentation and process starts to work. And when we've got him filled, then we've got to put the airlock in. So now what we've done is we've emptied the bucket so that there's only the sludge in the bottom, and we've now got a virtually full demijohn. We're not sure if we've filled it up too much, not enough, but I guess we'll find out. But what is encouraging is that we've put the airlock in, and you can see that this is carbon dioxide escaping. So we think we've got a seal, and we think we're doing it right. What we've now got to do is to put this stage of the brew away for a couple of months. It is the 12th of May today, so this is 6 weeks since we last put it together. Now, it stopped bubbling, the gas is no longer escaping, so that's a good sign. And what we have to do now is to transfer it from this demijohn into another so that it can clear. So what we have is a second demijohn that has got the chlorine solution to disinfect it so that that is a bacteria free environment to transfer the wine into. This is the brew now that has been transferred into the second demijohn. Now, we took a hydrometer reading, and it's the first time we've ever taken a hydrometer reading of anything. And we're a bit worried because we thought it meant that there is no alcohol whatsoever in it. But what we think it means is because the way that you work out the alcohol is you take a hydrometer reading at the start before you start fermenting, and then a hydrometer reading sort of now, which is when we think we've finished fermenting. And the first one is going to be very high and the second one is going to be lower. Well, ours was at almost 0. So what we think that means is that all of the sugar has been fermented with the yeast and is going to turn into alcohol. What we don't know is what was the hydrometer reading at the start. So we won't actually know what the volume of the alcohol is, but we do know that we think we've done as good a job with the fermentation as we can. So it's now had a shake, and we waited until it had stopped fizzing so that the gas, carbon dioxide, could escape. We've put the airlock back in, and now it's going into the cupboard again for a period of 4 months, by which time we could have wine. What we have here are a series of wine bottles. They could be from anywhere, they just happen to be from here. Now the reason we've picked these is because they've got the dimple, and so it means that any sediment will sort of settle at the bottom, aided by the dimple, and it won't take the wine so much. And of course, if you make the wine really well and it's this young, it shouldn't have sediment, but this is the first time we've attempted to do this. So we're assuming it does, and so we're using bottles with good dimples on. And now what we've done is place a Camden Tablet. I mean, it's basically chlorine powder, and it's about a teaspoon, just less than a teaspoon per bottle. They say a tablespoon per gallon, and so sort of that, you know, across the three we've guesstimated. What we've also done is to put the corks in to soak in a Camden Tablet as well. Now currently the corks are floating on top, which of course you'd expect cork to do, so I don't know if we should be pushing these down so that so that they are submerged. I guess we'll find out when we try it. So after consultation, what we've decided to do is take a regular potato masher, which is about the same size as this litre jug, and just use that as weight to keep the corks underneath, so that all of them will in fact cure in the Camden Tablet, that will purify everything and get rid of any nasties. It is now 3 months later. We're actually in the middle of September. And as you can see, our brew is now clear. It looks like very, very pale apple juice now, which, given that this is an apple-based wine, probably shouldn't surprise us, but everything's clarified. So now we have the wine, and we have our gravity funnel, we have our corks, and we have our bottles that have all been sterilised. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fill the bottles. So now what we've done is we've used the siphon to fill the bottles to just at the beginning of the neck, because what we're now doing is we're putting corks in the bottle with a corker that we've got, that is this. What you do is you put a cork in this end, and then this end has got a sort of a plunger. You push down on the plunger on the bottle, and that puts the cork in the bottle. So there's about a third left in the demijohn. We've bottled up 3 bottles, so I'm guessing that that means there's another 2 bottles that are in here, which that looks about right for another 2, maybe another 1, maybe another 2, not quite sure. But we've also poured 2 glasses to test, and actually this tastes like pretty acceptable white wine. Possibly a little strong, but there's nothing wrong with that. But this is starting to look like it's been a success.